Welcome back into another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising Show, here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you free. With the best history lesson and spiritual insights on the planet, exposure of the Illuminati's plan of world conquest and control is the death knell to the New World Order. So we're going to get into Divine Plan Volume 2 and finish off with the last chapter 11, a little bit more about Freemasonry, and more about that in Chapter 12. Mark of the Beast continues, types of Masons, secrecy, what the Masonic doctrine is about, and more of the Mark of the Beast. In the last episode, we're finishing off adding up Shriners, comes to 6, Shriners Club comes to 6, Fellow Craft, it might be a little bit off that one, I think that comes to 9. Senior Deacon comes to 6. End of quoting for this portion. When we sit to write again, we shall take up with the subject of the two types of Masons, stonemasons and Freemasons. Are we just little boys playing at games? Perhaps, in evidence of the good done through the organizations. However, as the levels get higher in power, so too do the seriousness of the oaths and obligations, and don't ever forget it for a moment. Part of the other side of the coin is that if you break an oath, unless of course you have adhered to the KOL NIDRE, does anyone know what the KOL NIDRE is? Didn't think so. You are subject to having a brother do the dastardly deeds to you, even if you have changed your mind. You may think you play games. The head adversary is not. Let's just read that again. Part of the other side of the coin is that if you break an oath, unless of course you have adhered to the KOL NIDRE, you are subject to having a brother do the dastardly deeds to you, even if you have changed your mind. You may think you play games. The head adversary is not. HATONN to clear, please. Thank you. The KOL NIDRE is what the Jewish society does on the Day of Atonement. They say the KOL NIDRE, but the words of that KOL NIDRE have been changed. And I'll tell you the simplicity of that, which creates, where if you're, I'll just start off with this. Born into, let's say, a religion of Catholic, in that sense, you're born into a religion of guilt. They try to make you feel guilty, so you're a victim. You're always thinking you're being victimized instead of being your true self, which is God power within. So what better way to fool us all by keeping us in the victim attitude while another society takes what? An oath that actually puts them above and beyond any sort of victimhood or guilthood. Okay, so the KOL NIDRE has been changed from this day of atonement to the next day of atonement. Okay, instead of from all of my last year's sins are pardoned, are atoned for today. No, it actually changed the words to say from this day of atonement to the next year's day of atonement, I am forgiven of all oaths, obligations, word, anything that you made a decision to say you will do, you don't have to do it, because the KOL NIDRE says you're basically atoned for it before you even commit the sin or commit the fraudulent act. And that's in one of the Phoenix Journals. Phoenix Journals are the best source of truth on the planet in one place, collaborated by investigative journalists from around the world and off the planet as well. Scroll down below and see how you can get one shipped out to you today for a small donation. Chapter 12, recording number 1, HATONN, Saturday, October 24th, 1992, 9:30 a.m., year 6, day 69. Since we have a meeting this afternoon and time is short this morning, I suggest we move directly into the subject under writing. I do, however, wish to share a couple of varying ideas with you regarding truth, and you determine the man in point relative to the projection of ideas regarding truth. Will Rogers. Nothing makes a man or body of men as mad as the truth. If there is no truth in it, they laugh it off. Nietzsche. There are many kinds of eyes. Even the Sphinx has eyes. Therefore, there must be many kinds of truths, and consequently, there can be no truth. We all know Nietzsche was trying to implement basically atheism It appears to me that all say, and humanism, it appears to me that all save the last three words have validity, which is also recognized as truth. So be it. All your life you live so close to truth, it becomes a most permanent blur somewhere in the corner of your eye and mind. And when something nudges it into outline, it is like being ambushed by a grotesque fact one wishes not to see or hear. It is the time for seeing and hearing and confrontation. Now, let us move on to some of those nasty confrontations. By the way, we have only warmed up to the subject of Henry A. Kissinger. A equals 6, K equals 66, equals 666. Kissinger equals 666 also. Just ponder it a bit. Mark of the Beast, continued. Types of Masons. There are two types of Masons, one being stonemasons and the other being Freemasons. Freemasonry is a secret craft which is unknown to the average person. However, things done in secret ways are to be exposed, for God knows all. HATONN. Nothing of God is secret, only mystery until you recognize the answers. For there is no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, shew thyself unto the world. John 7:4. Let's read that again. For there is no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself unto thy world. John 7:4. For it is to shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. Ephesians 5:12. Secrecy, Masonic doctrine. Secrecy is the essence of Masonry as a club necessary for its very existence, protected by blood oaths of mayhem and murder. So secrecy is the essence of Masonry as a club necessary for its very existence, protected by blood oaths of mayhem and murder. 1. In Masonry, the darkness which envelops the mind of the uninitiated non-Mason is removed by the effulgence of Masonic light. Masons are appropriately called the Sons of Light. Lightfoot's Manual of the Lodge, page 175. 2. Freemasons are emphatically called Sons of Light, while the profane or uninitiated non-Masons who have not received this knowledge are said to be in darkness. Masonic Dictionary, Light, Consolidated Book, published 1963. 3. Blindfolded, hoodwinked, and kneeling half-naked and bound by a rope, cable tow, and the candidate for initiation into the blue degrees is asked by the worshipful master, in your present blind condition, what do you most desire? And remember, if you go to court in Canada, you don't say your honor, you say your worship. So is that not Freemasonic? In your present blind condition, what do you most desire? His reply, according to the ritual, must be light for the first degree, further light for the second degree, and more light for the third degree. Verbal Masonic ritual, 1, first, second, and third degrees. The Masons are hoodwinked. HATONN. Didn't you sometimes wonder where that term hoodwinked came from? Is this not what has happened to all of your civilization? You have been hoodwinked into searching for never-ending light. Okay, the Masons are hoodwinked into searching for never-ending light. This constant search leads, cable tows them from the lower levels of Masonry to higher degrees. However, and so sad, they never reach the end of the search. As we profane people know, the Messiah, the Christ, is the only true light. Number 1, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. John 8:12. Number 2, this, then, is the message which we have heard of him, Christ, and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. 1 John 1:5. The Bible. Masonic doctrine. The Bible of the Christian is merely one of the holy books of man, no better than the Quran, the Hindu scriptures, or the books of the Chinese and Greek philosophers. It is not taken literally, for its true meaning is esoteric, hidden from all but a small number of enlightened elite leaders. The literal, obvious meaning is only for the ignorant masses. It is right to remove references to Jesus in passages used in the ritual. Masonry, contrary to popular belief, is not based upon the Bible. Masonry is actually based on the Kabbalah, a medieval book of magic and mysticism. 1. Masonry makes no profession of Christianity, but looks forward to the time when the labor of our ancient brethren shall be symbolized by the erection of a spiritual temple in which there shall be one altar and one worship, one common altar of Masonry on which the Veda, Shastra, Sade, Zendavesta, Quran, and the Holy Bible shall lie, and at whose shrine the Hindu, the Persian, the Assyrian, the Chaldean, the Egyptian, the Chinese, the Mohammedan, the Jew, and the Christian may kneel. The Kentucky Monitor, Fellow Craft, degree, page 95. 2. The Jews, the Chinese, the Turks each reject either the New Testament or the Old, or both, and yet we see no good reason why they should not be made Masons. In fact, Blue Lodge Masonry has nothing whatever to do with the Bible. It is not founded on the Bible. If it was, it would not be Masonry. It would be something else. Chase's Digest of Masonic Law, pages 207-209. 3. The removal of the name of Jesus and references to him in the Bible verses used in the ritual are slight but necessary modifications. Albert Mackey, Masonic Ritualist, page 272. Where are you? Who is the liar but he that denieth the Christ? He is Antichrist, that denieth the Father and the Son. Whosoever denieth the Son, the same hath not the Father. 1 John 5:12. I and my Father are one. John 14:9. HATONN. The author should be a bit careful in projecting his correctly spelled name and identification before the swine of the world's elite, because he is a former 32nd degree Mason, defected. I further suggest to you editors that you include the drawing as given. See end of chapter. There are a whole bunch of you hoodwinked servants to evil out there. Some have come to see the light, but many play in the circles of the blinding games under the deception that it is fun and games. So be it. For by thine sign shall be taken note by God. Let's read that again. There are a whole bunch of you hoodwinked servants to evil out there. Some have come to see the light, but many play in the circles of the blinding games under the deception that it is fun and games. So be it. For by thine sign shall you be taken note by God. End of quoting. So in the next episode, we're going to get into more of what can be the mark of the beast.